Hey guys, and welcome to today's first impression video. We are looking at PropHunt, which is basically hide and seek with guns. Now, from my understanding, this is a side game or mod taken from Counter-Strike, and you have props and you have hunters. And the idea is that depending on which side you are, you're either trying to hide from the enemy or you're trying to hunt the enemy. It's a pretty simple concept. It is online only, it is only PvP. So the game's success or decline is really going to depend on how many people there are actually playing the game. It is released today, so right now there isn't that many. And one of the negatives that I've seen, I don't know if it was a bug, but I tried quick play earlier and it found a game straight away, and then I was like waiting for the next round, and then when the next round happened, nothing happened. It also froze on me. I couldn't switch between players like it was telling me to. Again, not sure if this is a bug or the fact that everybody quit out, but I couldn't do anything, so I think it's more of a bug. However, when I hosted a game, everything worked fine, except for the fact that there was no players. So yeah, like, I can see the appeal of this. It reminds me a lot of the Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, where it was essentially the same thing, but instead of guns, you had knives and different skills that the different assassins had, where it was basically hide and seek. And I had a lot of fun doing that. It's just that with this, you don't get any of the props, unintended, or hints that you got with Assassin's Creed. So for example, with Assassin's Creed Brotherhood and the iterations after that, you would get like a navigational kind of hint that somebody was there. You don't get any of that. You've just got to be really like eyes open and figuring out what doesn't look quite right. We'll have a look at the settings real quick. Honestly, there's nothing here, but what I will say is the game runs extremely well. Like, it looks really pretty, but it's obvious that it's a very simple model. It's a very simplistic game in the way that everything kind of runs. So I've got VSync on, everything's at epic. I would like to see more, but I understand why there isn't. I don't know if they're going to be adding more in the future, or if this is just going to be a standalone mod kind of game thing that extenuates from Counter-Strike. So let's jump into the game and see what it's all about and see how it plays, etc. Okay, so I figured that I would show you what I meant by the round sort of camera not really working. So this is spectator mode. However, previous player and next player doesn't work at all. It just constantly comes up with this current round ends, and I can't see anything. The escape key doesn't work. Like, I can alt tab out of the game, but that's literally it. And then the round ends. And hopefully this time it will boot us in, but it doesn't. It just takes you to the thing. I think this is a bug, and this is a bug that needs fixing, because if it keeps doing this, people aren't going to play your game. If you want to do a quick match, find a lobby that's not already playing, or find a lobby that's already playing and actually have it load you in when you should be loading in. What I think's actually happened here is that the host has left. As a result, everything breaks. And again, I can't do anything. You can hear me tapping the escape key and nothing comes up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to host a game. I'm going to show you the hosting as it works, and then load in and show you how the movement and everything kind of functions, and how playable the game actually is when you're able to get into a game. Okay, so when you host a server, you can set a password for it, which is really nice if you want to play with friends. You've only got simple or swap. I'm assuming simple means that you just stay as the side you are. Swap means that you swap sides per round. You've got the map. What I would like to see here is a random. You can only choose a map to go for. And I would like to see a random so that it just picks one at random. Also, there aren't that many maps. Again, I would like to see more in the future. You can have a maximum of 16 people on a map, which is fairly decent. You can select the amount of rounds that you have. You can also select how long you get to hide, which is really quite nice. And then the round time as well. This is in seconds. The end of display and the time before a restart game. So there's a decent amount of server hosting options here, but I would like to see more added with time. But again, that's going to be down to whether people are playing the game, and if that bug with the quick find happens or continues happening, then this game is going to die on arrival and it needs fixing ASAP. But we're going to host the game as is. And then, as you can see, you've got the hunters and the props. It shows your ping of each of the players. But as I'm hosting, I can start whenever. You've got your match settings, so you can go back to this screen and see pretty much everything. And then you can invite friends off your Steam list as well, which is kind of cool. I like the fact that it comes straight through this as opposed to having to go through your Steam friends list. But that's kind of cool. Then you start game, and I will say that the loading time is really, really good. It takes no time at all to actually load into the game. It's just whether the game works or not. I would like maybe a different screen to this. It's a bit boring. It's a bit bland. It's not something that I really want to look at for 45 seconds. I'm not going to lie. But on the whole, like, loading times are really good. It's surprising because the game's not like massive, but it's not tiny either. It's like 3.84 gig. So it's a decent sized game, but the loading times are really good still. Again, I just wish it'd work with a quick game, but I'm going to keep going on about that. So here we are. This is my player. So I'm the hunter. The idea is that I've got to go around and hunt things. Now, obviously, that's not really a thing because there are no other people on this server. And you've got to wait for the round to end before you can get new people in, which I think is a bit silly. If you've got room for it, just let them load straight in. It might get rid of the weird bug where, as a spectator, it doesn't work anymore. Movement is pretty free-flowing. Like I say, it's pretty simplistic, but it's not terrible. What I will say is that there's no gun feel. Like, there's no real gunplay with it. There's no recoil. There's no anything. Although, weirdly, you take damage when you fire your own weapon. What I mean by this is when I shoot, that doesn't... So a rocket launcher doesn't do damage, but firing too close to a thing... No? Of course. So, when I was playing this... There we go. Yeah, so depending on what you fire at, you actually take damage. Which, I'm not sure how I feel about. I don't know how I'd take damage from firing at a building. And it like, sometimes it doesn't really matter how far away it is. You fire at the wrong thing, you take damage. And I don't know why. Unless that's to discourage players from just shooting at random objects all the time, because if you do that, then, you know, you'll eventually find them, or what. It just seems like a really odd mechanic. Also, there does seem to be a little bit of motion blur, but it's not the worst I've ever seen. But yeah, so it's a very, very simplistic game. Like, it's basically hide and seek with guns. I can see it being fun with friends, and if they get the quick match working, and if there are players on the servers at all times, it stands a chance to be very, very fun and very, very busy with the servers. So there, I do believe that was somebody hiding. But I could have been wrong. Because I'm going to die for shooting it. So I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this self-damage when you fire at objects. I'm not sure how I feel about that. But yeah, like, there's not really too much to talk about the actual gameplay. Like, you run around. The maps are fairly large. They're not too small. The maps actually remind me of another game that I covered not too long ago. Okay, where'd that sign go? So it is worth noting as well that when you are the props, the people that are hiding, you actually you can switch between at random, right? So, or not at random, but you can switch between as you move. So if you get out of the way, you can then switch again. But yeah, I don't know. I'm dubious. I want games like this to succeed, but I am dubious. And as I was saying before, I saw the guy as a sign. The maps remind me of a game that I covered not too long ago that was very similar in the movement style and was just not very good. They seem to have improved on that. So I don't know if it's the same developers or if it's just shared assets, but it's got very, very strong ties to that game from what I can see with this map that I've just played on. But yeah, like, honestly, it is. It's going to come down to how many people are on the server and how much fun it is to actually play with a group of you, and how good you are at hiding and how good you are at seeking. There's not really much else to say on the game. Like, you've got different maps. You don't get to choose or customize your players, which is a bit of a letdown. And it looks like you only ever get these 3 weapons, which is also a bit, you know, it's very basic. It's very basic bitch energy, which I'm completely okay with if the gameplay itself is fun. But I don't know that because there's not enough people on the server just yet. So there you are, guys. This is PropHunt. Check it out. Hide and seek with guns. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Let me know if this is a game that you would play. Let me know if this is something that, if you are a Counter-Strike player, you are interested in. If it lives up to the expectation, because I know that somebody said in the stream today that they were on about doing this for a while. So yeah, let me know. Let me know what you think in those comments down below, guys. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up on this video as well, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you all next time. Ciao, ciao.